so few punches, and he lets you work. He lets you work, and you're backing up, and you're always afraid of that power, and he's just moving in, trying to find that opening where he just gets.
That's happening. And then you have Jake Paul, Gervonta Davis.
Joe Rogan has seen enough of Gervonta "Tank" Davis's recent training footage to sound the alarm. After watching Tank's latest workouts, Rogan cautioned Jake Paul that facing this version of Davis could be the biggest mistake of his career. According to Rogan, Tank isn't just technically superior, he's quicker, sharper, and more dangerous across the board. And now that Davis appears to be adding muscle to close the size gap, Rogan believes Jake might be stepping into a painful reality check he won't soon forget.
And then you have Jake Paul, Gervonta Davis. That's the state of boxing.
Yeah, that's
right now.
crazy.
Let that sink in.
Jake
That's
Paul,
boxing right now.
Gervonta Davis is so crazy. 135 versus 200. That is so nuts.
They're all expedition.
None of them are.
Yeah.
Tank speed is on another level, Rogan remarked while discussing Gervonta Davis's training camp on the Joe Rogan Experience. He described Davis as one of boxing's most explosive fighters, someone who doesn't depend solely on raw power but on pinpoint accuracy and impeccable timing that keeps opponents guessing where the next punch will land. With Davis now adding more muscle ahead of a possible clash with Jake Paul, Rogan suggested that his trademark speed, paired with newfound strength, could be a dangerous mix for anyone standing across from him.
The fight is scheduled and everybody's going to watch it. So with all the eyes on it, there's only one result that is going to be of satisfactory. Only one result. And that is if Tank knocks out Jake. That's the only result.
Inside Gervonta Davis's camp, things have clearly shifted. His preparation for this matchup looks more intense, heavier, more calculated, and focused on adjusting to Jake Paul's size and reach advantage. In a recent conversation with Bad Left Hook, Davis's longtime coach, Calvin Ford, expressed full confidence, saying he expects Tank to handle this fight with ease.
To know in some things, I think Gervonta's just gonna stick and move. He'll be fast, play it smart, I don't see him staying still for too long so Jake can land some shots. He'll just try to touch him. Who knows, man? It's an exhibition. It's a money grab.
Ford explained that the goal isn't to try and match Jake Paul's size, it's about keeping calm under pressure and making Jake miss. All he needs to do is stay out of Jake's range. Jake's too slow, Ford remarked. Davis's recent training clips seem to back that up: quick bursts of movement, intense sparring sessions with larger partners, and those signature body-to-head combinations that have broken down plenty of opponents his own size.
My only concern is, the gloves. You understand what I'm saying? Because we don't fight in 12-ounce gloves. We don't use 12-ounce gloves. That's training gloves, you know what I'm saying?
Rogan thinks this fight could clearly show the gap between raw athletic progress and true boxing instinct. He acknowledged Jake Paul's hard work but pointed out that Gervonta "Tank" Davis operates on another level. Tank's timing, Rogan said, is that of a pure boxer. He knows exactly when to strike. By the time Jake commits to a punch, Tank could already be 2 steps ahead, slipping, pivoting, and firing back. If Davis spots an opening, Rogan predicts Jake will get caught and dropped, because Tank doesn't just hit hard, he knows where and when to land those shots. That precision, Rogan warned, is what makes this matchup so dangerous. Even a tiny mistake could cost Jake everything.
Jake is big. Tank has a lot of skill, but I don't think he's the same Tank that we saw the most incredible knockouts. We saw him, Lamont Roach performed great. They went to draw, and, I just don't know. And Tank walked away. I don't know if he loves it enough to beat a guy who outweighs him by 80 to 100 pounds.
Even Gervonta Davis's mindset appears different this time around. In the past, his training camps were about defending titles and maintaining sharpness, but this one carries a more personal edge, a statement fight against a crossover name in a higher weight class. Davis isn't just preparing to handle the size gap, he's planning to dominate it. Reports suggest he's been sparring with noticeably larger partners to mirror Jake Paul's reach and strength. Every training clip tells the same story: laser focus, crisp counters, and the kind of explosive power that can finish a fight in an instant.
I'll tell you what we're going to learn. If Tank Davis takes it serious, Tank Davis is going to beat his. I just don't know if Tank's going to take it serious. Like, mentally, I don't know how checked out he's been for a while, to be honest. I mean, he's a good enough boxer to, still. We see what's going on in his personal life. He's talked about retiring. Like he seems, when you follow him on the social.
The bout itself won't count toward any official boxing record. Scheduled for 10 3-minute rounds, it sits somewhere between an exhibition and a legitimate contest. Still, that hasn't quieted the buzz. Some boxing purists have dismissed it as a spectacle, while casual fans are intrigued to see just how far Jake Paul's confidence can take him. Meanwhile, over in Davis's camp, the energy feels focused and unbothered. They're not interested in the noise. Even if the fight won't go down in the record books, both men are clearly approaching it like everything is on the line.
92-pound weight difference, almost 100-pound weight difference. It's insane. Let's say he comes in at 200 pounds. It's still a 65-pound weight advantage. That is called one thing. That's called being a bully. It's like, dude, what are you doing? What don't you understand about this? If you want respect from your peers, if you want...
Jake Paul has been the first to try and steer the conversation. True to form, the YouTuber-turned-boxer took to social media, turning his platforms into part of the fight. My team says Tank's looking scary in camp. Shiver me timbers. For weeks, Miami, he posted a mix of sarcasm and self-defense. That single comment set the tone for the mental warfare. Meanwhile, reports out of Baltimore suggest Davis has been sparring with noticeably bigger opponents, even heavyweights, and those sessions haven't been gentle. One insider claimed that Tank landed a shot so powerful it sent a sparring partner reeling into the ropes.
Friday, November 14th, 2025. That's the date. That's how it's going to go. I'm showing up, putting in the work, but I'm telling you now, I'm taking that L. We'll see what happens after. But
that's where things get tricky for Jake Paul. Physically, he seems to have every advantage, standing 6 feet tall, built like a cruiserweight, and likely stepping into the ring with nearly 40 pounds on a man who's never fought above light welterweight. On paper, Jake should be the one dictating the fight. But boxing doesn't follow paper logic, it never has. A smaller fighter who can slip, pivot, and capitalize on mistakes can flip that size edge into a weakness. And Gervonta Davis is exactly the kind of fighter built to make that happen.
A baby rhino out there. And I think that is the idea for him to bulk up and be a little powerhouse out there. And I'm all for it.
At just 5 feet 5 inches, Tank Davis might be small in stature, but he fights as if every inch of him is a weapon. Nearly 93% of his opponents haven't made it to the final bell. But that's not something he chases. Davis doesn't hunt knockouts, he creates them. He disrupts rhythm, exploits openings, and lands clean, explosive shots that can make the rest of the round irrelevant. His timing is what truly levels the playing field and explains why a size disadvantage doesn't intimidate him.
I believe that this is a mismatch, and I believe that Jake Paul will knock Tank Davis out, maybe in the third, maybe in the fourth round. Tank will try to move, he will try to stick and move. It's not going to work out for him, and he will eventually get knocked out.
For Jake Paul, this fight presents a challenge unlike any he's faced before. Most of his previous opponents have either been retired MMA fighters or cautious boxers content to move around the ring for a payday. Davis, however, doesn't dance, he hunts. He reads his opponents, cuts off space, and exploits openings, skills honed over years against world-class competition. When Paul joked after his exhibition with Mike Tyson, asking, "Is there a height limit in boxing?" it sounded harmless. But with Fight Week approaching, that same joke now carries a very different weight.
Right, I think that fight there, I think because of Tank's skill level, it's like, it makes it fair, even though he's not, the weight difference is crazy. Really and truly, bro, Jake Paul should not land a punch on Tank.
Calvin Ford, Davis's longtime trainer, isn't hiding his confidence. He's been straightforward about the matchup, suggesting this fight should be relatively easy for Tank. Ford believes Jake is slower, overly reliant on his right hand, and still figuring out how to react when the tempo picks up. All he has to do is stay away from Jake, Ford said. In other words, Davis's camp expects the bigger fighter to chase and miss, creating the openings Tank needs. That's why the sparring footage is so telling. It's not just about conditioning. It's about timing bigger swings, countering heavier punches, and remaining elusive without losing control. While Tank's camp hones its skills behind closed doors, Jake Paul is putting his own version of intensity on full display. He's built his persona around showcasing the grind, early mornings, sweat, and motivational sound bites. This time, he strapped himself to an ATV and filmed himself pulling it for social media. "I've got the world on my shoulders, trying to take me down," he wrote. "Obstacles won't stop me. Doubt won't stop me. And most of all, haters won't stop me." 55 days.
Tank looked very uncomfortable facing off. He just did. I've seen other face-off this Tank done. He gets in their face and they're intense and he looks good. He looked very meager up there. You've had 8 fights and you're gonna go tangle with Tank Davis. And the story instantly comes out. Jake is so much bigger. There is such a compliment to Jake within that insult. It is meant.
For Jake's followers, it's motivation. For seasoned boxing fans, it's marketing. But the bigger question is whether all that effort will translate into control inside the ring. Sure, Jake's size lets him press forward, but moving towards someone like Davis can backfire quickly. One mistimed jab, one sloppy pivot, and the counter lands. When Davis faced Ryan Garcia, it was the same story. Garcia had the height, the reach, and the speed, but none of it mattered once he made the mistake of overcommitting against Tank.
Of the gloves. I gotta say this because y'all betting all this money. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, wait. You guys were the ones that wanted 12-ounce gloves, not me. I'll do 8. Fuck, I'll do 4. I'll do 2 ounces. I'll do bare knuckle. Like,
I wasn't aware of that. You know what I'm saying? Because I know that he can handle himself.
So what do you want? 10 ounce? 8 ounce? What do we want?
If he the one said that, I'm gonna go with.
Still, Jake has his eyes on bigger goals. He's suggested that a win over Davis, even in an exhibition, could open doors to more high-profile opportunities. His name has increasingly been mentioned alongside Canelo Alvarez, often by those looking to generate buzz. Jake has previously expressed a desire for that fight, claiming he'll reach that level eventually. And according to a former world champion, a victory over Davis would bring him a step closer to that dream, regardless of what the official record shows.
Entertaining fight, to be honest. Jake Paul has a lot of followings, a lot of guys that are going to come and watch, and that gives the opportunity for other fighters to be seen on those cards, you know. So a lot of people don't agree, but at the end of the day, for me, it's entertainment. And if we can take boxing to the next level and give other fighters opportunities to be displayed and for other people, YouTubers and all that, to be seen, and hopefully all the YouTubers and people there are just...
It's an ambitious comparison, but for Jake, momentum is everything. He views Davis as both the challenge and the fast track, a true elite-level boxer who could give his resume instant credibility. Pulling off a win would change the conversation around him entirely. That's why he's approaching this fight with focus and seriousness, even if much of the internet treats it like a joke.
Jake Paul brings something to media and to boxing. You cannot miss a fight. I like it, V. I like the drama it's bringing, I'll be honest.
But nobody really cares about this fight.
Yeah, are you going to watch it?
Yeah, of course. That's how it's going to go. Nobody really cares, but everybody's going to watch it. Like,
he said, nobody cares about this fight.
There's another angle unfolding behind the scenes. Some of the fighters who once chased Davis are now stepping aside. Lamont Roach Jr., the reigning super featherweight champion, recently mentioned that he's moving past Tank entirely.
Look at this face-off, Henry. What are your thoughts here?
You're hearing that shit from me. That's cringe. In some weird way, I kind of like it.
About it.
He's trying to big man the smaller guy, who the smaller guy to me is dangerous. I think Tank Davis is going to put the hands on him, but I like it, bro. I will say something about Jake Paul. He's brought a lot of attention to boxing. Tank Davis guaranteed $40 million.
If you were in that position, would you fight Jake Paul?
The two share a bit of history. Roach's team had been hoping for a rematch, but repeated delays and Davis's talk of retirement ended those plans. Roach's father and trainer told FightHub TV that they had played a role in helping shape Tank's early career. If he retires, then retire. We wish him the best in whatever comes next, he said.
Gervonta not filling the rematch clause and just fighting Jake Paul and that whole situation and reaction of the fight itself.
I feel people just, I don't know, people got issues because at 200 million mandatory, or either go fight for 5 million. It's a no-brainer. Like, what's a no-brainer?
hard fight. A hard
Right.
fight.
And we prize fighters. They prize fighters.
Right.
And the prize is big. And he's going to retire soon. So you got.
That remark stood out in the current context. Here's Davis, supposedly on the verge of retirement, taking part in an exhibition that feels far from a farewell. For Roach's camp, it signals that Tank's priorities have shifted. He's chasing high-profile events, not belts. We've got goals to accomplish, and we're not focused on that, Roach Sr. said. Their attention is now on Isaac Cruz and moving up to bigger divisions, while Davis pursues what could be the final chapter of his career as boxing's most explosive showman.
Maybe he'll fight Jake Paul instead. What do you think of that?
I think that's terrible.
Why?
I mean, I get it because at the end of the day, it's the money business, and you want to make the most money. But from what I'm hearing, he can make more money in a fight with me. And if that's the case, why not fight me?
Sure. Do you think he beats Jake Paul?
Do I think he beats Jake? Yeah. I mean,
there's a huge size advantage, though.
That very tension is what makes the Paul fight so difficult to categorize. On one hand, it's a business move, a high-profile exhibition designed to draw attention. On the other, it's Tank stepping into a scenario that could quickly become serious if his pride is challenged. That's the real risk for Jake. Davis isn't showing up to play around. Every bit of training footage from Baltimore tells the same story: intense pad work, heavy bag drills, and controlled aggression. If Tank approaches this as a real fight and Jake treats it like just another event, the difference will be obvious immediately.
Bro, you can't be mad at somebody for doing what they feel is best for them.
Will it impact Tank's legacy if Jake Paul were like to beat him or even like knock him out?
Dude, Tank's a 3-division world champion, 4-time 3-division world champion. At the end of it, bro, you can't take it.
And yet, it's easy to understand why both fighters are taking this route. Paul has made a career out of spectacle, facing well-known names, generating headlines, and cashing in before critics can react. Davis has built his reputation on proving doubters wrong and shutting down anyone who questions his size or experience. Meeting in the ring was inevitable, two very different paths converging on the same destination.
I don't want to beat up somebody that small. I don't want to, you know what I'm saying?
What do you think of the fight?
I don't want to lose to somebody that. There's no point in the fight. It's a great fight, actually.
You think
I'm
it's a
not
good
hating
fight?
on the fight, but I think my thoughts on it is let's watch and see what happens.
Ryan Garcia said that boxing's turning into WWE.
Yeah,
with that type of matchup. What do you?
Dana White has already weighed in on the matchup, calling it both dangerous and uneven. He noted that Gervonta Davis packs more power than Floyd Mayweather, but his smaller size could be a factor. White's perspective is intriguing. Jake's size alone might shift the dynamics. Jake is a big guy, he said, and if he uses his weight effectively, tying Davis up, leaning, and forcing him back, it could neutralize Tank's speed advantage.
Boxing has gone too far. Jake Paul is taking on Gervonta Tank Davis in an exhibition bout this November. The fight will be taking place in Atlanta between the cruiserweight and the 135-pounder, nearly a 100-pound difference between the two guys. This is absolutely insane. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments down.
At the same time, White hasn't overlooked what Davis brings to the table. He still regards him as one of boxing's hardest hitters and warns that a clean shot from Tank could render the size difference irrelevant. Yet he keeps circling back to the same point: fighters should face opponents in their own weight class. For White, this isn't a balanced matchup. It's a test of whether skill, power, and precision can withstand raw size.
It's kind of weird because Jake Paul is extremely bigger than Tank, and I mean, but with it being a exhibition, it makes sense. It's fine.
Eddie Hearn has been looking at the fight through the lens of each fighter's career. He's repeatedly said that Paul is taking a significant risk by facing Gervonta Davis. In fact, by signing on for this exhibition, Jake is potentially jeopardizing a future bout with Anthony Joshua. Hearn points out that the exhibition label doesn't eliminate the danger. A poor performance could still slow Paul's momentum. From a promotional standpoint, the decision makes sense for Davis. You can't fault him, Hearn noted. There's a chance to make $5 to $7 million in a 50-50th fight with Lamont Roach, or $30 million in an exhibition against Jake Paul.
Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis. Does Davis have a chance?
Gervonta is a fucking great boxer, but he ain't gonna do shit with fucking Jake Paul.
So you got Jake Paul by knockout, or?
No, I don't got anybody, but I don't think
he's just too small.
It's just. I don't want to beat up somebody that small. I don't want to, you know what I'm saying?
What do you think of the fight?
Hearn also suggested that Davis might no longer be motivated purely by legacy. "I don't think Gervonta loves boxing the way he used to," he said in another interview. "That's not a critique of Tank's skill, it's an observation of his mindset." Hearn believes Davis is now at a point where the focus is more on cashing in than chasing titles. Even so, he acknowledges Davis's clear advantage. For Hearn, the real question isn't whether Tank still has the drive, but whether Jake fully grasps the magnitude of the risk. A loss here could carry consequences far beyond the paycheck.
Over 10 3-minute rounds.
I said we're going 90.
The fight is 195 pounds, Tank, as you know. Over 10 3-minute rounds, and when Tank and Jake enter the squared circle to go to battle, they will be wearing 12-ounce gloves. 3 commission-approved, world-class professional judges.
Tony Bellew isn't convinced that Paul's size gives him an advantage. His prediction is simple and blunt: if Davis connects, it's done. Bellew warns that a clean shot from Gervonta Davis could end the fight instantly, sending Paul to the canvas. He emphasizes that he's not talking about points or strategy, he's talking about pure, fight-ending power.
It's not a marketing genius, but when it comes to people that pick and lose fights, I can't get my head around it. If Tank hits him clean, he's going to sleep. He'll have a lot of smoke blowing up his backside by his coaching team and people like that, but when he gets hit the real 10-ounce, well, I'm told it's 16-ounce gloves now for like an exhibition. Right. I'm told it's big gloves and head guards, he's gonna need.
Bellew, who has competed at cruiserweight, knows firsthand that size alone doesn't shield you from perfect timing. He's described Davis as one of the most exciting fighters in the sport and stresses that Tank's timing and precision will outweigh any advantage in mass or reach.
Now looking good in this. I don't know how it is. It's looked to me, David and Goliath, but David got skill and Goliath doesn't, but I don't know how it's going to work out. But if for some reason it winds up being a really fun event and it has tons and tons of millions and millions and millions of viewers, when Gervonta Davis goes back to his...
From Bellew's perspective, the only thing standing between Jake and a knockout is whether he can avoid that one perfectly timed shot. He sees Davis as too sharp, too explosive, and too patient to let a slower opponent survive for 10 rounds. Bellew's assessment isn't driven by hype, he simply believes that skill will neutralize the size advantage once the punches start landing. This view is echoed by Joe Rogan and many other experts in the sport. What do you think? Does Rogan's assessment hold up in your eyes? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for the latest updates. Catch you in the next video.